All right, so our next speaker on our panel is Valerie, and she's a productivity coach. How many people are like, right away now I need to listen because this is what we're all trying to do is to get more productive, right? And she's also a certified, this is interesting, a certified fair play method facilitator. And she teaches moms how to get it all done because nobody should feel like they're failing at motherhood. And I love that you lead with that because of how many women do feel like they're just failing in so many areas. We judge each other, we judge ourselves so hard. So I'm excited for you to be sharing with our group. I'm going to go ahead and turn the spotlight over to you.
Okay, hi, thank you. I am going to try and let's see, I'm going to hit share. And can you see
Yes, that does work.
a screen? Okay,
Yep.
thank you. So, as we were talking, there's construction going on in my house, and there is like concrete being taken down across the house, and it's very distracting today.
We cannot hear it. You are
I
okay. We
I figured nobody could hear it, but it is just, in the background noise. I'm hiding out in my daughter's room today, speaking of being a mother, and here we are. Okay, so today, so can you all see my screen before I dive in? You good?
yes.
Okay, thank you. So today we're going to cover the myth of the perfect mom and how to get it all done. And we've already had an introduction. We can talk about what the fair play method is some other time. It is a lovely tool that I use in my work. And I just feel like we as moms are trying to do too much. And so I do this work because I have been there. I have been overwhelmed and resentful and frustrated. And the steps I'm going to share today, I have followed in my own life. I have seen it work in how I relate to myself and my to-do list and my family, and I've seen it work in my client lives. And to be honest, I still have days where I'm overwhelmed or resentful because I am human. And I believe we are dysfunctioning in a society that is rigged against moms. And I believe that we can do better, and I'm here to help that, well, to help folks take that first step. If you get anything from what I'm going to share today, I am hoping that it is just really how to evaluate what's on your to-do list, because I think we have multiple to-do lists and way too much on there, and it's hard to know where to start on any given day. So let's dive in. Okay, so your to-do list is long and overwhelming, and it's hard to know what to focus on because it feels like there are so many things that need to happen all at once. And if you don't do it, who else is going to take care of it all? And no matter what you do, it feels like it's never enough. Between work and keeping the house functioning, you feel like you're constantly drowning. And feel like this fear of failing then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we wear ourselves out trying to do all the things on our to-do list, and we're too tired to show up as the mom or the family member we want to be. And then we feel guilty that we're failing our kids, and the cycle starts all over again. And this perfect mom myth is strong. It's connected to how you manage your to-do list because so much of what's on your list is there because of your kids. And a lot of what I'm going to share today isn't necessarily work focused, but I think it can transfer to both balancing being a business owner and having a family and how you manage your to-do list within your work as well. And I'm here to tell you that you are not failing. So, what is a busy, overwhelmed, resentful mom to do? We start with clarifying your values. Now, I used to really dislike the word value, so if you hear me say this and you want to run for the hills, stick with me here, please. When you clarify your values, you have a different lens to evaluate your to-do list. So you can identify what tasks belong on your list because you think they're supposed to be there versus tasks that are there because they're connected to what matters to you. So answer this question. What do you want this season of life to look and feel like? And if you want to take the time to define your values, that's great. But if it feels like too much, just define what the next few months you want them to look like. Have this conversation with your family, regardless of the age of your kids. Talk to your partner about it. Write it down and then put it somewhere where you will see it regularly. So I had a friend who went all out for her kids' birthday parties. Decorations, crafts, everything was homemade. And she loved being known as the crafty birthday party woman. This was very much an identity for her. And she mostly enjoyed it, even though it was exhausting. She also thought her kids loved all of it too, until she had a pared down party a few years ago and learned that her kids really didn't care about all of the elaborate crafts and decorations. The simple one was just as much fun and a little easier, so much easier for her. And she realized that she was wearing herself out based on this idea of who she thought she should be and how she should really be presenting um, herself. So she still throws birthday parties, but they are much different and everybody enjoys them. Now, so if it feels like you don't have time to identify what's important to you, I promise that taking even just 5 minutes to think about this will give you more time back in your days. All right, so let's look at what to do now that you've clarified your values or identified this next season. I'm guessing that most of what's on your to-do list and commitments feel important. You've said yes to these activities because you don't want to let anyone down. You don't want your kids to miss out on anything that helps set them up for success later or feel left out of something. And everything on your to-do list feels like it needs to happen, preferably today. And if it doesn't happen, you feel like you're failing. And I get that. However, when we know what's important to us in this season, we can take a critical look at how we are spending our time. And this is where we really get into the nitty-gritty of your to-do list compared to your values. So when we don't take the time to evaluate what's important to us and make sure it guides how we are spending our days, our lives are being run by our to-do lists. And we're going to resent the things that we have on there because we feel obligated to do them even if we don't want to. So when we focus on doing what's important, not all the things, our task list feels a slightly bit less overwhelming. So this next step is to take your what's important to you and your values and compare it to your to-do list and your current commitments. What tasks can you cross off because they just don't make sense right now in this season? It doesn't mean you can't come back to something down the road, but maybe right now it doesn't make sense. So review your commitments and see what doesn't work for you. So I had a friend share how their kid played soccer. They played soccer because all the other kids on their block did too. She didn't seem thrilled about it, and I'm not really sure her son wanted to do it either. But she felt obligated to do it because everybody else on her block did it, and she didn't want her son to feel left out. And I pushed back on this, thinking of maybe other families on the block felt the same way. Maybe there was a different sport they could all try, or maybe they could have a season of no after-school activities. And yeah, oh, excuse me. So I do realize that parents need to work and need their kids in after-school activities. However, and we can talk about that. I think that my point here was that I wanted her to look at what she was saying yes to and to have it make sense for her and her family, and to not do it because she felt obligated to do that. So you might not be able to make major changes right now, and I get that, but being aware of what's working and what isn't working is a great first step, and then we can work on how to make changes going forward. So next, we're going to look at what to do once you've clarified your values and spent some time evaluating what's on your to-do list and what you're committed to. And I know that it's hard to keep up with everything. So between kids and household work and work tasks and society telling you to eat more protein and fit in self-care, it's exhausting to even figure out where to start each day. You might get up in the morning and spend your day checking tasks off your list and go to bed feeling like you got nothing done, when in reality you did a lot. We just expect so much from ourselves and we don't give ourselves credit for everything that we do. So now it is time to build routines to tackle what's still on your list. By building in these routines, you can start going to bed knowing that you're getting things done and focusing on what's important to you and your family. These can include creating morning routines and evening routines, weekly routines for cleaning and tidying the house, laundry, dishes, all the other maintenance tasks, and you can even have routines within your business, like marketing Mondays. So start thinking about what routines you could use in your life. And part of creating those routines is to leave some white space in there. Don't plan every minute of every day with tasks because you got to leave room for a sick kid or a flat tire or a snow day or something, right? As parents, we know that things crop up all the time. Let me share a story of Sally, a client of mine who spent a lot of time going to the grocery store every week. When we were evaluating her time, we noticed that she was stopping at the grocery store multiple times each week. So she'd stop to pick up vitamins or a specific snack her kids were out of. It was often for just a couple of items, with larger grocery runs on occasion. She wanted to make sure her kids had the snacks they loved and the house was never without something. So we talked about how to streamline this and how to build a routine that helped keep her household stocked with vitamins and anything that they needed without having to run to the store multiple times a week. She made a list of what she bought at each store, so she would shop for vitamins at a specific store once a month, getting everything they needed for the month instead of whenever they ran out of something. And then same for basic pantry items. Instead of running to Costco several times a week when they ran out of something, it was every 2 weeks to buy what they needed for the next several weeks. And she saved herself a lot of time by batching these errands instead of making what felt like a quick stop several times a week. So where can you build in routines to simplify things for you? It might sound boring, but I promise they help create space and flexibility in your days. Okay, as we wrap up here, let's just review what we've covered. So, the perfect mom is just a myth, and you are not failing, and this myth is keeping you stuck because the system is rigged. So, you can feel that you are getting it all done. Maybe not all in one day, but you can work towards knowing what's on your list and that you're making progress toward your goals. You can do this by clarifying your values or identifying what you want this season to look like, building or evaluating your tasks and your commitments against your values, and then building routines to stay on top of everything that you have there. And you don't have to do this all at once. Moving slowly with small steps helps build momentum and helps the changes stick. And you don't have to do this alone. This is the work that I do with my clients. And my resource for you today is this 3 steps to busting the perfect mom myth. And I will put the link in the chat in a minute. And that is what I have for today. There's also someone in the waiting room. I'm going to let her in. Is that okay? All right. Well, thank you.
Okay, I'm on mute and I'm trying to get back there with you. Hold on. Okay. I love again so many things that you said about the just the guilt factor that we have, and really how many of us, I think one of the powerful things you said, Valerie, was how many of us do things because that's what we think everybody else tells us that we should do. Our neighbors are doing it, the other moms are doing it, the neighborhood's doing it, and we're going, oh, I should be doing it, right? And not really evaluating, does this support us? So I do want to let you guys know if you have questions, put those in the chat. But also, if you were watching this on the replay, go to the notes section because Valerie's offers and the way to connect with her and what she has for you and her resources will be in the notes. So make sure you go find her, follow her on social, grab her. And what's it called? It's called the Expert Innovator. Is that what it is? The kid I'm reading that there. Oh, you're muted now.
That is just the generic ConvertKit
Okay.
link. So it's basically just the 3 steps to busting the perfect mom myth. It covers kind of what we covered today and then a few little additional steps to work on.
Great. So we're going to love that. So make sure to grab that. Thank you. Taking notes while she's talking. So I hope that you are too. And we're going to go ahead and bring up our next speaker.